Hey folks, welcome to the show. Got some country music going on in the background to, well, at least help me feel better about tonight. Might not help you, but I think it's quiet enough that it shouldn't bother you at least too much. Um, yeah, the Oilers really got beat, as I'm sure you saw in the title. There's not too much positive talk about it. Um, but let's get right into it because it started decently for the Oilers. Despite a pretty early bad gaff, the Oilers had a rather good first period. And that's what's weird about this game is despite losing 5-0, there is some chances in the first that really could have absolutely changed the game. A few inches one way or another, the Oilers could have been up 2-1 by the end of the first, which obviously, even if the Stars still scored 4 goals to our none in the second and third period, would have made this a very different game. But it just feels like utter disappointment in all areas. And I pride myself on being a positive guy, so I do have some positive stuff to talk about. But I'll leave that for the end after we go over what happened. The first period sees the Stars get an early lead, 2 minutes and 8 seconds in, after Draisaitl has an ugly defensive zone giveaway to the Stars. And to make matters worse, I believe it was Smith's pass that managed to go to the puck managed to phase through Nurse. Like Nurse was laying on the ground on the ice, or at least seemingly, and the puck still managed to go under him. And it's not like this Nurse thing. Like most defensemen, including Nurse, are when they're down the ice, they're covering the puck, and then Faxa, who shoots it and scores the 7th goal of the year, the puck just seems to phase through Picard as well. So maybe the puck was paid off by the Stars. I don't know. It's really my only explanation. But some people are going to defend Picard on this one because he certainly wasn't the first or the second person to mess up on this play. It began with Draisaitl having a really trying to force a pass he shouldn't in the defensive zone. And I'll talk about him more later because this isn't the only time he does it during the game. And the puck managing to go through Nurse, which shouldn't have happened. Nurse should have covered it. Well, not like covered it in a goal, but blocked the pass from happening. But also Picard should have had the save too. So there's 3 people there that really can't do anything. If Oilers fans are looking to blame someone, they're going to need more than one finger. So anyways, Dallas has a 1-0 lead, but the Oilers fight back pretty well. Yeah, the Stars have some good chances of their own. Picard starts making some pretty good saves, but unfortunately, whatever good save Picard would do, Ottinger would do better and more. And eventually Dallas would have an opportunity to make it a 2-0 lead. Nurse gets called for interference 56 seconds past the halfway mark of the first period, and then he gets 10 minutes misconduct for talking too long to the ref. I'm kind of serious. I'm not blaming the game on the refs. Absolutely. When you lose 5-0, you can't blame the game on the refs. And this proved to be pretty inconsequential. It could have been very consequential because Nurse is a very good defender, and having him lost him for 8 minutes longer than you should could have been really bad for the Oilers. But fortunately, it wasn't. There was other things that went bad. So this was the only time I really took issue with the refs. Was unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, maybe Nurse was like really, really rude to the refs. I don't know. There wasn't a camera angle or any audio. But that's the only scenario where I can see is, okay, if Nurse is threatening the refs, maybe. Like if he's especially rude, maybe I can see it. But I don't think so. You see, refs take a lot of verbal punishment, and they should have a thicker skin, especially in the first period. Again, I mentioned before I was reffing, and this was kids basketball. I got yelled at more than what Nurse could have said in that short amount of time to get him 10-minute penalties. So, do I really, a kids basketball ref, have a thicker skin than NHL refs? Maybe. I have a lot of respect for NHL refs. I think they get disrespected a ton, but it's hard to respect them after that. But again, it proves inconsequential. The Oilers kill that penalty. Carrick has a really nice breakaway chance via Nugent Hopkins, and he does a spin around a move that Ottinger manages to save because, as I mentioned, he is having a very good game and continues to. The Oilers get their own power play opportunity 4 minutes from the end of the first, with Heiskanen going off high sticking. But as you can tell from the score in the title, the Oilers do not convert. First period ends, shots are whopping 16-10 for the Oilers. So it does feel like, the Oilers could come back. They've had lots of meh first periods before. This was actually a pretty good first period, and the Oilers, for the last couple months, just get better as the clock goes by. But the second period was just ugly. And it begins with Nugent Hopkins going off for tripping just under 2 minutes into the second period. Fortunately so far, the Stars don't score on this one either. I am going to make note that Nugent Hopkins has had like 3 stick penalties in the last week, and this was the first one where I was like, yeah, that was Nuge. That was fair call. So he's been pretty unlucky, but this time, yeah, that was fair call. But again, the Oilers kill that before getting their own power play opportunity when Robertson goes off for hooking 4 minutes into the second, but that is killed. And then the Stars get another power play opportunity 12 minutes, 27 seconds into the second period when Mattias Ekholm goes off for interference. And Stars this time do convert. The Oilers once again had a few more good shorthanded chances to score. I think the Oilers' best chances of scoring came on the penalty kill, weirdly. But it didn't make up for allowing a goal on this penalty kill when Tyler Seguin scores his 23rd goal of the year, and he's assisted by Jason Robertson and Miro Heiskanen. The Oilers are once again granted a power play opportunity when Wyatt Johnston goes off for hooking at 14 minutes and 20 seconds. The Stars kill that. The Oilers' power play did not look good. The first power play I meant to mention, the first period, was really ugly. This one wasn't so bad, but it ended terribly. The Stars managed to get the puck as the period is ending, and a lot of the Oilers players, except Nurse, I believe, were caught. I think it was Nurse. No, it was Ekholm. It was Ekholm. And I'm not just saying believe. I know it was Ekholm. A lot of the Oilers players are caught up in the offensive zone as these 3 Stars players are barreling down the ice against Ekholm. Oh, and look at that. Wyatt Johnston is coming out of the box to make it a 4-on-1. And it is Wyatt Johnston who does score 7 seconds after he comes out of the box. It's his 30th goal of the year, so congratulations to him on a 30-goal season for the young player. But I'm not in a congratulatory mood, even though I like the Stars quite a bit. But like I said, I'm not really interested. He's assisted by Harley and Radek Faksa. So after that, it's kind of, it becomes 3-0, and the feeling is, well, as long as we really don't crap our pants, the Oilers could come back. The Oilers do crap their pants. The Stars mount 2 more goals before the period could end. It comes really fast. There's an even strength marker by Jamie Benn at 18 minutes and 42 seconds into the second period. It's his 19th goal of the year, and he's assisted by Johnston and Stankoven. And then 56 seconds out of the end of the second period, Sam Steele scores his 9th goal of the year, assisted by Faksa and Smith. So that is 4 goals in a matter of 6 minutes, just under 6 minutes. And that is pretty much the killing blow. Miracles can happen, but it certainly didn't look like the Oilers believed in miracles tonight. They were pretty much destroyed in all forms. I still stuck around to watch one because I think it's important to be a supportive fan. There's a lot of flaky Oilers fans. I'm not saying that they're not fans. It's just the Oilers are either the best or the worst team in the league according to their opinion. At least reading comment section on the Oilers, it's kind of like this is the difference between a playoff team and a regular season team. We're still in the playoffs. We're still probably going to make the playoffs. And this is the difference between a team that can go deep in the playoffs. And we've won a series in the last 3 times we've been in the playoffs. We've been in the playoffs for 5 years in a row, and 3. I'm pretty mad as an Oilers fan, but I'm not flaky. Come on, I know the Oilers aren't going to be. Hopefully, the Oilers aren't going to be playing like this for the rest of the season, but doesn't excuse them from doing it tonight. Again, it happens to everybody, but doesn't mean you can be excused all the time. You can't really excuse yourself from allowing 4 goals in 6 minutes. So I stuck around in the third period as long with my friend, just to kind of see how the Oilers respond, see if there's any positives, because it is important that even if you're probably going to lose the game, you should still go out there, play the game, not just for formalities, but for yourself, and to build momentum going into the next game, which the Oilers absolutely need. They're playing the Avalanche Friday night, which should be really good. They met once. Avs won in OT, I believe. It was shootout, I think, and it was an incredible game. Oh, look at that. Battery's coming low. It always seems to go low when I'm recording. I swear I charge it. Maybe I guess I don't. Is this charger not going to... Here we go. Okay, anyways, as I was saying, so second period ends. It's 5-0 for the Stars. Third period's pretty uneventful. Ottinger, again, puts up a couple saves. Evander Kane is very noticeable. He's the only guy who's willing to make miracles work on the Oilers at this point. Picard is still in net. He plays the whole game. We'll talk about him. Kane does draw a penalty 14 minutes and 43 seconds into the third period. At first, I thought it was a pretty obvious tripping call because Mason Marchman's stick was beside Kane's feet. Kane went down as he tried to get a rebound shot. But on a second, looking in slow motion, it was a bad angle. So I was kind of, maybe it wasn't tripping because Marchman was kind of putting up a fight about, I didn't trip him. I don't think Evander Kane embellished. I think he was just diving to shoot the puck, and Mason Marchman's stick just so happened to be right next to Kane, so it looked very much like tripping to the naked eye, so I don't blame the refs for making the call, but in slow motion it kind of looked like maybe Marchman might have not tripped him. I would have need to have seen it from a different angle in slow motion, but I will admit, if Stars fans feel like that shouldn't have been called, I could see why, but I could also see why the refs called it. In any case, Oilers power play once again looked pretty bad, and Ottinger looked pretty good, and the shutout is kept for Jake Ottinger. The Stars win 5-0. It's their 8th win in a row, and Jake Ottinger has his 2nd shutout in a row. I am an Ottinger fan, so I'm happy for him, but it was really bad timing. 1, because it came against the Oilers, and 2, because the guy, I'm in a really tight fantasy battle, and the guy managed to retake the lead from me because of Jake Ottinger. And because I had a few Oilers who didn't put up a lot of points. I'm still in it. I'm not going to say it could have been the turning point, but whatever. This is about the Oilers game, not my fantasy game. But final shots in the third were 94 for Edmonton. Woohoo! Not like the Stars really needed to get any shots on. I don't remember if I mentioned the shots in the second period. In case I didn't, Dallas outshot the Oilers 18-10, which helped because they had a few more power play opportunities, I believe. But even if they did, it's not excusable. I'm not going to go count it because at the end of the day, the Stars shot more and, more importantly, scored more. Because there wasn't really too much of a difference in terms of the shooting and quality. There was the main difference came down to goaltending. I'm not going to say that if Skinner played or if Ottinger didn't do so well that the Oilers would have won, but it probably would have been closer because a lot of the Stars' goals were very good. There was only 2 I would really blame Picard on. A lot of people are going to come to his defense because the Oilers didn't do so much today. They gave him some taps at the end of the game. He certainly didn't lose the Oilers game, but he did the Oilers the game. He had some notable saves, quite a few actually, but it doesn't excuse him. It wasn't a great game by him, and again, a few of them I felt like he should have had. So, again, final score 5-0 Dallas. Shots were in Edmonton's favor, 35-32, and I do believe if you're going to lose, at least out-hit the other team, and the Oilers did, 29-19. Dallas won in the face-off circle 53.6% of the time. The Oilers were bad on the power play, 0 for 4, and the penalty kill was 2 for 3. Picard, 27 for 32. I mentioned how I felt. It is going to be considered a bad game. That's what happens when you allow 5 goals and 32 shots. There isn't really a scenario where you could have a good game and allow 5 goals on 32 shots. But I will also say, at least in this modern era, maybe in the 80s, but I will also say that while some people are going to come to his defense and say, hey, he didn't have much chance, you're right. On 3 of those goals, I would say Picard couldn't really do too much. But it is part of the goalie's job to do a bit more than expected. And even if he did, I think we still would have lost because, again, it wasn't all him. I just think there was a couple that's like, well, just because he wasn't the worst player and he certainly wasn't the reason we lost doesn't mean there was some he should have had. Ottinger was a perfect 35 for 35. Excellent game from him and was easily the first star, not only for having a 30-plus save shutout, but because I really think the Oilers could have had the lead going into the first intermission. They didn't play bad in the first period. They created some great offensive opportunities for themselves in the first period, quite a few, and all were saved by Ottinger. Bouchard and Draisaitl had a very bad game. I don't believe in using this as a reason to hate Draisaitl and Bouchard. They're still very great players. If your takeaway is that these two suck or are overrated, that's not my point. Everybody has bad games. It just so happens Bouchard had a very, very bad game. It looked like early season Bouchard. He got really careless as the game went on, which is disappointing to see. I know it's hard to play when you're down 5-0, but what I hope to see from NHLers at our team that hopes to win the Cup is that you're still going to try to at least get a goal in the third. And there was a lot of Oilers who were trying. Bouchard was not one of them. Draisaitl was very bad. He would have had 2 assists tonight if he wore a Stars jersey. He's only credited with 1 giveaway, but it should be 2. And they were both defensive zone passes he tried to force. They were not good passing opportunities. He tried to force them. And I don't mind him forcing passes because he is one of the best passers in the league. But there's a time and a place. One is that you should never do it in the defensive zone unless it's like your only option, which it wasn't for Draisaitl. So both of them came in the defensive zone, so therefore don't do it there, man. And the second one, they were already down like 3 or 4-0 at this point, so you could say, well, it didn't mean too much, but at the same time, it's like, well, you're not helping. You're helping the Stars, I mean. So very disappointed by Draisaitl's game today. I meant to mention Bouchard was credited with 4 giveaways, which when you pass as much as Bouchard does, when you're a QB, I do anticipate you to have more giveaways, so that's why I don't mention giveaways, because I'm kind of weirded out by how they're tracked. And again, it's if you're going to pass a lot, you're going to get more giveaways. But 4 is a ton, especially when you have 0 assists on the night or a goal. And he had 2 in the defensive zone. It's frankly lucky that he was only a -1 tonight because he had a really bad game. A lot of his passes ended up on the Stars' stick. Anyways, ending off in positive, somehow the 3 stars for the Oilers. This was one of those nights where it was hard to choose because nobody really had a good game. There was just guys who didn't have a bad game. So I chose the 3 guys who I felt tried their hardest. Picard did try very hard, but he didn't make it into the top 3 because he allowed 5 on 32. But he did try. He did. I'm not going to knock his work ethic. The Oilers do have a very good work ethic, but by the 5th goal, it was pretty much dead for a lot of players. So the 3 guys I mentioned still looked like they were trying to perform a miracle in the 3rd period. And so I don't believe in hating on somebody because they weren't trying when they were down 5-0. But I do believe in giving extra credit. Sorry, I knocked my computer because of the cord. This is why I don't like charging during videos. But I do believe in giving credit to players who are trying to make a miracle work. And that's what these 3 guys did. Your 3rd star was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He had 3 hits and a shot on goal. He created 2 very good, or was part of 2, or maybe even 3 shorthanded breakaways. This Oilers had quite a few breakaways, 2-on-1, 2-on-0 chances on the penalty kill. And most of the time it didn't result actually, no, I don't think any of them resulted in the Stars coming back on a breakaway scoring. One of them did result in Rupe Hintz having a breakaway, but he missed on that shot, so it worked out. It would have worked out better if they had scored, and Sam Carrick had a really nice opportunity, but that didn't go in, not because of him, but because of the guy he was shooting against, who just so happens is regaining his form right before the playoffs. So good news, Dallas Stars. Again, I like the Stars. I like Ottinger, but do it another night, man. So that was your third star, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Second star was Evander Kane. I wish I am naming him because he scores for the first time in a while, but he didn't. But nobody did on this team, and he certainly tried very hard. Again, in the third period, he was very notable. Oh, wow, we've passed the 20-minute mark. But he had 3 shots on goal and 5 hits. And the first star was Connor McDavid, whopping 8 shots on goal and a good hit, too. Both him and Kane knocked over the Stars. So, and McDavid was one of 4 players who was not a negative player tonight, which is more impressive when he played 20 minutes. So there was lots of chances for the Stars to have scored when McDavid was on the ice, and they didn't. McDavid made, well, when I say lots of chances, I mean lots of time, not a lot of chances. The McDavid, Hyman, Nugent line did have a pretty good night, 5-on-5. I considered including Hyman in here, but I'm not considering him an honorable mention because it's not like he got a point. He just hit and had good analytics and played good even strength. So those are the positives from the end of a pretty rough game. Let's hope the Oilers respond well to the Colorado Avalanche. It's all about how these games are. These games happen to everybody, and it's important that they happen so that the team, or the Oilers in this case, can see how they respond. You want to have these games out of the way by the postseason, and you want to be able to respond properly in these situations. I don't believe the Oilers responded properly in the third period, but that doesn't mean they can't respond properly against a very tough team, the Colorado Avalanche, Friday night. As I mentioned the last time we played them, we lost in extra time, but it was a very tight, very fun game to watch. This is game 2 between the two teams. I'm excited to watch it, even though we're coming off of 2 losses now. Anyways, I'm still positive. The Oilers are still a playoff team, believe it or not. They're still going to have a chance at the Cup, and I still think they're capable of it, but there's lots of teams who are capable of it, including the Dallas Stars tonight, and including Colorado Avalanche, who will play Friday night. I hope I see you then in my review. I'm glad you were here for this one, whether you're using me for information or white noise, either or, that's okay, and have a great rest of your night, day, morning, wherever you're at, and I will see you when I see you next.